clearly their version of themselves this year has been off a little bit from last year. They're scoring 4 fewer points per game, and they're running the ball less. They ran the ball 56% of their plays last year, 49% this year. And Bart Scott, that's where I want to start with you. I've heard a lot of people suggest they're trying to force the passing game this year because they felt that that's something that has been missing. Is that what you see, and do you think it's a problem?
Well, what happens is when you're in the third year of a system, it's so much film, and you're able to get tells on offenses, who was in what position, who's in the backfield, what does that mean when you think about the different running backs. I think what they really have to do is go out and get him a weapon. They spent a multitude of money on the defensive side of the ball, bringing in all those corners, bringing in Max Judon. They have to go out there and maybe make a trade for AJ Green. I'll call Atlanta and say, hey, is Julio Jones available, because it looks like they're going to tear that thing down? Or I'm going to go and I'm going to really have strong consideration and conversations about bringing Antonio Brown into the fold after his Week 8 suspension. They need another dynamic weapon on the outside. When you have a tight end-based offense to get your explosive plays, you're too easy to defend, and they get exploited when they go against the better teams who can put numbers up on offense and then also can play a certain style of defense to be able to contain Lamar Jackson. And if this offense goes down by more than 2 scores, then they have to come out of that identity, and they don't have the weapons to push the ball down the field. That's
really interesting take. Let me bring Ninkovich in here. And Bob, I know what a huge fan you are of Lamar Jackson. We talked about it a lot this summer. What have you seen from that offense?
Look, I think I'm not hitting the panic button. They're 4-1, and they're scoring 4 points less. I think they're going to get things together and roll in the right direction. I also think that on the flip side of things, when you're preparing for an offense like the Ravens, the first time you go against a team like the Ravens, it's kind of shocking at how they're able to operate and the way that they run the football, the RPOs, the quarterback speed. When you don't see a quarterback that fast, basically ever, it's pretty tough to defend. So you're seeing these teams play them for the second, third time. There's tape out there, like Bart said. These other teams are watching the tape. They're looking into, okay, what do we need to do here? How do we stop this offense? And I also think that the Ravens at this point just aren't executing like the way that they did last year. And a little bit could be Lamar dealing with a knee or dealing with something that affects his speed and his ability to run around and scramble. So maybe he does want to force the ball in some situations and throw it down the field. But I'm not panicking. I don't think that it's the time yet. They're 4-1. Plenty of time here to still progress. And they didn't have an offseason like everybody else. So we're seeing some teams struggle early in the season. I think because they didn't have time like they would have last year in training camp, OTAs, all that stuff. So yeah, I think they'll be fine. I believe in Lamar. I believe in him.
He's not panicking. Are you panicking?
I am. And listen, this isn't an excuse for them because they're a team that's been together. They've been in this offense for 3 years, so they didn't have to learn new terminologies. They added weapons to that offense. What happens is, and Rob, you experienced this in New England. The first time you saw the Wildcat, I mean, your head was spinning. And then you slowed it down and you said, okay, if this guy, if they get this formation, or if this guy is their running back, or if this guy is their receiver, if Ricky Williams lines up here, then that means this. This means speed option. And then what happens is it slows down for you. You're able to defend it. They have to get a more dynamic weapon that can spread and open this offense up because they can't win every game in a phone booth. And if they get behind, they have the inability to come back.
I tell you what, they get AJ Green or Julio Jones or Antonio Brown. That makes the whole thing very interesting. Thank you for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.